I would like to call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Heffron. Here. Moore. Oden.
Here.
Bennett.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Whistler.
Here.
White.
And at this time, we'd like to welcome visitors to the public forum. If anyone wants to speak to the board.
Hi. Hi, I'm Emily White, and I would like to talk to you guys about our intruder drill that we had on Friday. I would like it if the school would do another one so that we could learn some more. I didn't feel like I learned the most that I could on our last one. I would like it if we could do another one. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for letting us know.
Well done.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Anyone else for the public forum? This is working, first time. At this time, we would like to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approved minutes of the previous meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved.
Oh, I forgot to vote
What's that?
aye. I was making notes.
What? Okay. Old business, we don't seem to have any. New business, student representative.
Hello everyone, my name is Sophia Graccio and I'm a junior at Centerville High School. I am here representing the student council. I participate as a program committee head and then I also participate at the state level as a district officer representing the Southeast District. Some things going on in the school right now. We just had our mock trial team compete. I'm actually part of that. I got all district attorney along with several of my other attorneys and witnesses. We both did amazing. We scored 1-on-1. We went against a really tough competition and with this only being our second year with the high school competing team, that was very good. Our boys and girls soccer team just started to kick off. Our girls won their game at home last week. They did amazing. Boys is doing well as well. We hosted a home track meet last week, which I have heard some great things from some of the high school girls. Prom is coming up. We have prom April 25th. We're very, very excited. We are paying prom dues. We're getting ready. We're decorating and all of that lovely stuff. As you all know, the theme is Garden of Grammar, I believe. Yes, super fun. Iowa assessments are this week, starting tomorrow. We have some nervous but excited kiddos. I'm excited because it's my last year ever. At the high school, we just hosted honor choir, walking through the halls, seeing all the little friends. I saw some of the girls I danced with from Sheraton, so that was a great opportunity for lots of kids. And then I think there's so much more, but some of the top stuff is going on at the high school right now. So thank you for your time. Any questions?
Thanks for coming and sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I was chuckling a little bit because you said soccer season had kicked off.
I didn't even intend to do that. Yeah.
See, there we go.
So you're the next one.
Yeah, I am the next thing as well.
You're the next one.
Yes, sir.
Approve the out-of-state student council field trip.
Yes, so I'm here to request your permission to travel out of state for Vision. Vision is the National Student Council conference. So last year it was held in Oklahoma City and I went and I am here to testify that it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. I met 800, not all 800, but there's 800 students from all around the United States. We go and there is a bunch of leadership workshops, keynote speakers, and you connect with so many people on different levels, and it's really fun. I still talk with some of the people that I met there. I know that a friend of mine, who normally is very quiet and not as outgoing, definitely stepped out of her shell and can 100% say that it definitely brought her some new character traits and unlocked some things that she didn't know she had. Because you're forced to connect with people. I mean, as leaders, that's our job, but it really makes you sit down and really think about some of your goals. So I am here on behalf of the student council to ask your permission to travel out of state. We need a school vehicle to drive to the Des Moines airport, to fly to New Hampshire, where we will attend vision at Pinkerton High School. And yeah. That's all mine.
In June.
It's in June. Yes, it is June. I have the exact dates.
21st to the 24th.
You know this girl?
21st to the 24th.
So how many kids would be going?
Right now, I think we have 5 kids, I believe. It's myself, Addison Drew, Kira Whistler, Ryder Harlan, Reese Bishop, I believe.
Sounds like the names out there.
Yeah, I believe those are all, I'm not entirely for sure, but those are the people that have expressed interest in.
Does the student, how does that get funded?
So right now, a lot of it is like personally funded, so like the travel expenses are personally funded, and your registration, I believe our council pays for half of it. So you have to pay the other half, and then you are in charge of stuff like t-shirts, because at Vision we do this t-shirt trading thing. So you wear your t-shirts, and then on the very last day you trade with other states. So I have a t-shirt from like New Mexico and a t-shirt from Oklahoma and California that like you trade with. So you'll have to pay for those, and then also pin competitions, you trade for pins from everywhere, and so you pay for that as well. Yeah.
Sounds like tons of fun. What do you guys think?
Motion to approve.
Motion-
I second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion?
New Hampshire's gorgeous.
Is it? I'm excited to.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You're gone.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, I just want to thank you for your guys' time, and thanks for letting us come. We really appreciate you guys hearing us out and listening to what's going on.
We would want to hear a full report on this trip.
Oh, I will come back.
Yeah, like a slideshow.
Yes.
You know, a little.
Yes. Yes.
Even though you graduated.
I'm a junior.
Oh, you're a junior?
Yes.
Oh, we still
Yes,
got
sir.
you.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, I will be here
Our
next year.
hopes are in.
Yes.
Julie, that was a quick, she's only a junior.
Yeah. Hey, I'm keeping her.
I love that they were both nodding their head at the same time, saying, it's like, I always say this is Julie's mini-me, and it's just so obvious with them in a line like that.
Thank you.
That is so
It's
exciting.
great.
You got the perfect guy.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think it's neat that kids can go that, like you mentioned last year, there was somebody that maybe didn't have the, you know, they developed those
Yeah.
skills, and I think that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, it's really awesome because you see the transformation too.
Mhm.
Like even I saw it within her too, and I'm like amazing friends with her. But I just like you never know that that side's out there because you're just so close with them anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's awesome, and I have several kids that are like so ready to go, and so thanks for letting us
That's
go,
great.
guys.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Well,
Good work.
thank you. Have a great rest of your meeting and dates, all that. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It is a mini-me.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love
She's an outstanding girl.
She's great.
Yeah.
Where did she get it?
You kind of like her.
Well, that's gonna be a great trip for them, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They went last year too.
Yeah, to Oklahoma.
How many kids went?
Last year there was like 20 some because they drove.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
where
so-
was it last year?
Oklahoma City, I think.
Oh, okay.
So they took a couple Suburbans and 3 Suburbans, I think, and went.
Oh, there we go.
What a beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Next item is approval of certificate of substantial completion for the Howard Middle School re-roof Phase 2.
This feels like it's coming significantly later than it should have. But our roof seems to be holding well. We've gotten enough rain in the last couple of weeks to kind of test it, haven't we?
Yeah.
So this is just payment.
Yeah, just a standard, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the approval
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Bye.
Opposed, same sign. We got it. Item D, approval of commencement for exchange students.
Thank you. Yeah, so we came last year to ask for approval of a specific exchange student, or a couple specific exchange students for the year. Technically, board policy doesn't seem to indicate how that would work necessarily, whether we would come here, whether I would make that call. really, I'm just asking for your approval to be able to do this for exchange students. We do have one specifically who has requested to walk Elijah, who's student here, and I know I probably just slaughtered the way to say that. I apologize if Elijah hears that. A nice kid who's one of our mock trial students and everything. He would be eligible for that back home, is my understanding, but came here obviously to spend that year with us. I think it would be wise for us to just approve moving forward the ability to do that if a kid would be at an appropriate age for that, so I don't have to waste your time with it each year. And since it's not in policy yet, that just gives administrative regulation to be able to just take care of business and get it done. I'm such a softie, I'd probably just approve it for every kid that would be eligible, to be honest.
Make a motion to approve commencement for exchange students.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Real quick, should we add in there that the superintendent could, in future cases like this, continue to approve at their discretion?
I would appreciate
Yes.
it if I
Yeah.
get that.
Add that to our
That's
motion?
good.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, add that too.
Add that too. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item E, discussion on request of other districts to join the South Central Conference.
This is the one that I budgeted the most time for in our meeting, just so we know. So officially, kind of for those playing along at home, there's been a request by Pella Christian and Oskaloosa to join the South Central Conference. This month, we've just been asked to present to our board and kind of collect feedback. Next month would be the month that all of the conference has been asked to officially vote whether each district will approve. And then we'll have a meeting in June where either Jenny or I, depending on how that works in the bylaws, will serve as the proxy to give the vote that the board is asking us to give. But just wanted to kind of give you guys some time to think about this. In terms of size, Oskaloosa is obviously significantly larger. Pella Christian is our size. There's a little challenge sometimes with the private schools versus public schools on recruiting from larger communities and everything, but just hoping to get your feedback, and I'll share it back with the SEC superintendents and be ready for May.
Is Oskaloosa a 3 or 4A?
They're a full 3A. I think there are some events in which they bounce to 4A, but in terms of the bulk of the sports, we kind of run into them as a 3A.
Okay.
Both are in the Little Hawkeye, I think it is, right? Yeah, the Little Hawkeye Conference right now, which has had some turmoil recently with some people leaving the Little Hawkeye to go to a different conference and some new schools coming in. So I think that's kind of part of the issue. They're not feeling like they can be as competitive in the Little Hawkeye. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair, but I think they're concerned about competitive advantage for other schools in Little Hawkeye, and how that might impact them. I will tell you, talking to coaches, talking to the AD, and then just kind of my own thoughts, I have some concerns for competitive disadvantage for us for adding these two schools to the SEC. That would be my biggest thing. In terms of travel distance, I mean, they're both relatively decent travel, so that wouldn't be so bad. I know there are some other schools who do compete with them in different things because of their proximity. But I don't think that it's a net gain for us as a district, to be honest with you. And that was what I voiced at the superintendent meeting.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you get a sense from other districts how they're feeling about, I mean, did
I
they
think
kind of
it's-
echo the same thing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. A lot of people are kind of in that boat. There's a couple. Knoxville probably wouldn't be upset with me saying that Knoxville has some interest because of the proximity to Oski and the fact that Knoxville is quite a bit bigger than the rest of us too. So it's not such a mismatch for Knoxville to be with Oski. And Pella Christian is just right across the road basically from them too. So it kind of makes for a nice deal for them. They have talked about that they would probably have some interest in it. Obviously that's not their board speaking yet. That's just kind of the superintendent's first blush from what she's heard from her coaches. The majority of the rest of the schools are not terribly interested. There is a concern in our group. The state has passed some laws where they now have the ability to kind of intervene, and they can force the boys and girls, the girls union and boys association to put a school with a conference. There were some conference rules that were passed in the last legislative session that there are concerns among us that eventually the state may say Pella Christian has the same student enrollment numbers as a lot of your districts, they're going to be put with you. We don't think they would do the same with Oski, but we think there's a good chance they may force the issue. Just kind of the impression I got from the others there is it might be okay to make them actually force that issue.
I would be opposed to having Oskaloosa. I mean, I go back years with my kids being in sports and stuff, and Oskaloosa has always been an unfair advantage just because of their amount of student body. Pella Christian's a kind of a different animal, but I don't know how you'd be able to say no to that,
Right.
just because of the population, but I would, it would be in my vote to say no on Oskaloosa without any other information.
And I would probably go with saying no to Pella Christian too, just so the fact that they can pick and choose their student body, where we are given a student body with, that's who we play with. If they're having Des Moines kids come down and be on their team, we've ran into it playing them in soccer and other sports where they'll go get the best kids in the metro and bring them to Pella Christian for a free tuition, and I don't think that's fair. In my personal opinion, private schools should have their own conference, and they are districts and state, and they shouldn't be in ours. So I would venture to say my vote would be no on both.
I would agree with that.
I would too. I actually have grandchildren in a private school, and I can see that those schools have an advantage over public schools in that respect, but also a lot of other things as well. So we might not be able to get out of the Pella just because
I
of
think
that.
there's a chance of that.
Yeah, because of the population, but if we could say no to both, I would say no to both.
Let the state force our hands at that
Yes.
point.
Exactly.
I agree 100%. You know, you turn on the state tournaments and how many of them are private schools. Well, that's not by accident.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's fair to our kids. I would vote no for both if we were voting tonight. That's
Yeah.
how I vote.
I would be the same.
So it's just a discussion tonight?
Just a discussion tonight, but this is good feedback, because I really do think the two school leaders for those schools who are going through this process for those schools, we do respect what they brought to the table with us and the work that they're putting in, and they both have kind of a second option that they will probably look at, so we don't wanna we wanna give them this information, so they can have an idea before it's too late to ask their second option. So hopefully, I have a feeling, this week, there's a few of these meetings, I have a feeling they're gonna get pretty similar feedback, so we'll share that with them so that they can be prepared and start talking to kind of the next option. And maybe we are their second option and they just told us we were their favorite, and the other ones were, I don't know.
Other than the proximity of
Yeah.
that being fairly close, is there any other advantage that maybe I am not seeing to?
Well, so here's what I will say, I do think that we have had a really awesome renaissance in a way of kids going out for activities in our district in the last few years. And so we do have, like our boys basketball at the middle school this year, we had a pretty large B team that the minutes were pretty limited for those kids. Sometimes when we have some of these bigger schools involved, you're able to get a B and a C game maybe, and you're able to spread it and get some more minutes for your kids. Unfortunately, in some sports, we end up being the school who's like, sorry, I can't field a JV because we're not big enough to do that. So some years in soccer, that's been the case when we go against a school. So one of Knoxville's big things was they don't get a full slate of games every week, and they want to get as many minutes for their kids as they can. I do think that could be a benefit to us, that if the state pushed it on us, I would probably look at that as my positive to feel good about.
Okay.
Anything else?
Still,
Yeah, that's fair.
but I just want to, I want to know,
Sure.
I don't,
Yeah,
I could see that being a positive, but I think there's too much negative to override that one.
yeah.
yeah.
All in, all done?
Thank
Any
you.
input?
Okay, we're moving on to approval of the relay service agreement and license. I never saw so many big,
I cannot remember the details on this. Oh, Timberline, yeah. That's right, I forgot it's got a new name. Do you wanna say anything about this, Julie?
No, Lisa and I looked at it, it's very similar to the last time they've changed, a company bought them out. We are gonna have to change from paper logs to, electronic logs, but I think it's time to do that, so that's not a big deal. But the contract's actually the exact same as Lisa and I determined, so.
It's worked pretty well for us
Yep.
in recouping some of our Medicaid costs to try to drive down our special ed deficit some.
I know that when we started that, it seemed to work really well right out of the gate.
Yeah, we've been good.
Take care of a lot of things that we don't have to
Yeah,
take care of, so.
they cleaned it up there. So I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve, relay services agreement license.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. The DCAP presentation.
So it's Julie.
So I put it up there, and it's also in your packet, but, this is a yearly, presentation that we have to provide. It's, the DCAP plan. This plan is actually about 30 to 40 pages long. It covers 5th through 12th grade, and it's all about, making sure our students have, things ready for the future, and while they're in school, that we're preparing them for that. So, the DCAP is the District Career and Academic Plan, also known as DCAP. It's the roadmap for our implementation of all of these career development and student career individual academic plans. So when you all went to school, probably you filled out some type of course thing for each year, and it's still the same. It's just an extensive amount of more than it was. Like, you want to be a teacher? Oh, here's some great ideas that you should maybe take. Or you want to, well, here's some great ideas. Well, now it is a lot more intentional planning, a lot more intentional work by our counselors, our CCTC, Jill Whistler, all the people involved. And so who's on that committee is myself, and then Jenny Donald, of course, our counseling team of Robin and Jill Whistler, and then our career tech people, and also Jennifer Benz. So CTE people as Mark Whistler, Steve Benz, Elizabeth Weinberg, Casey, all those teachers really help us bring this together. The other person that's really helped us this year a lot is we purchased some days from the AEA for Amanda Brink. She's a work-based learning, I'm not sure her exact title, she has probably about 4 of them at the AEA, but with us, she's considered our work-based learning coordinator because we get some sharing dollars because we bought so much of her time. And that has been a huge benefit to us. She has helped us organize and get things going, because as you learn here in the next few slides, there's a lot to this plan, and it just continues to grow because it's a huge initiative for the state, is making sure that our kids are ready for the future, and when they leave us, they have a plan of how to be successful. So, part of the DCAP plan is the ICAP plan, and these are the 5 components of an ICAP plan. And it's all about finding what interests kids, what their goals are. As you know, a lot of times little kids are like, I want to be an NFL star. Well, yep, we all do. No, I never did. But lots of people want to reach for the stars on those things, which is great. But what's a backup plan, or what's another experience or value that you can have? So those are all things that we talk about. Like, that can be one goal, and then let's have another goal. And so how we get kids to that is just really in developing, there's K-Navigator is something we use. Also, I heard it called Cooter. It's all about interest surveys. It's all about giving kids research on what works for them, what doesn't work for them. We also give the ASVAB, so kids can have that aptitude test. Just because you don't want to use it for the Army doesn't mean that you can't get some great information from what skills you're getting from that. So we have this document called the DCAP that lays all these things out of how we help kids from 5th grade till they graduate, and the ICAP is part of that. And it really is just all about career exploration, career information. What do you want to do after? Do you want to go to college? If you don't, what's some options that you have that allow you to get that trade work or that certificate that you might need? So there's lots of information with that. Within the DCAP, we have to set some goals. And so our goals are that 100% of 8th grade students will have an ICAP plan, which is that 4-year plan in high school of what classes do you want to take so that you have experience in all of our areas. Are you a college-bound student? Should you be taking some of our upper-level math courses? Should you be taking some college-level courses as you enter your junior and senior year? If you're not a college-bound student, what are the avenues that you're looking at? Do you need to take a welding class because you think that's what you want to do, but then you take it and you don't like it? Then we change that every single year, but in 8th grade is when that really starts. And so they work with our counseling, Lauren Baker at the middle school and Robin Spurgeon and Jill Whistler all kind of work together and get those kids some ideas. They had presentations on the activities. I know Sophia went down and talked about student council, FFA went down and talked about that, other activities that are involved so that kids know, maybe I want to take an ag class. I don't know if I want to be an FFA, but here's an option and then here's some things I can do to after. So those are all things. They have a move up day, so 8th graders go up to the high school, they spend a couple hours, they go around, they meet all the teachers, they get to see all the CTE classrooms, those things. So those are all on this plan. So 100% of our students will have that 4-year plan, and we know that 4-year plan changes every single day sometimes, every single year, but that it is completed and that parents are aware of all those informations. The second goal that we have is FAFSA. These goals are kind of set by the state in a lot of ways. FAFSA is a huge indicator of 84% of students who fill out the FAFSA are more likely to actually enroll in college. So our goal is to help them with that before they leave us their senior year. We currently have 53 students, or 51% of our seniors that have completed that. We started a few years ago with only 42%, so we're almost 10% higher than we were. Our goal is to have at least 60%. We know all students don't need to fill the FAFSA out. They have students that don't want to go to college, but if you have any idea that you think you might want to go, filling out the FAFSA is the best way to do that, because then you're guaranteed to have some of that financial aid if possible if you decide in August you want to go. So we have nights, we have junior nights, we have senior nights, we have time that parents just come in and our counseling team helps them fill out the FAFSA, because if you've ever filled it out, it's kind of a lot and sometimes confusing. So we do all that for our kids. That is a big thing that the state has pushed to us is the FAFSA. Our goal 3 here is 100% of our students 9 through 12 will have their ICAP plan, which we talked about with 8th grade, but then also parent verification. So each year we try to send these home with kids and get them back. That's the tricky part, with a parent signature so that parents know what the plan is. We have a lot of conversations. Robin does a great job of calling parents, talking to parents, especially those who are thinking about taking concurrent enrollment through Indian Hills. Or some of the other options that we have, and so that they understand what that means, because you are starting your college transcript and that can affect kids' financial aid, it can affect getting into a different college and things like that. So these are all things, this is just a sample of what it looks like, and they continue to change in addition to it because it needs to be. But the thing that Robin has done that I feel is really great with the Helping For team in that office is she meets with every student individually. It used to be like you just kind of turned it back in, but she really talks to them about what classes are offered, pushes them to think a little bit differently about some of the electives, and not just going with what they know, but how can you use this, or what do you think about this class? So I think that's a really good change that they've made there too. Goal 4 is that all students will graduate with a post-secondary or career plan with the initial steps for life after high school. So that doesn't mean that they know for sure what they're doing, but they at least have an idea, and we've helped them with what they think that is. Now, I know some kids have changed their mind in June of what they're going to do, but when they leave us, they have these plans, and so we have this, we have decision day, we have the career fair, we continue to work on that work-based learning that you learned about a couple weeks ago from Elizabeth Weinberg, our concurrent enrollment classes. There's lots of things that we do. The FAFSA is one of the biggest things to help them if they want that post-secondary. And if you just want a job, how can we help you? I know lots of internships, externships, lots of just job shadowing has happened for seniors. They bring speakers in so that kids can make those connections and network with everyone so that they are ready for that next step of whatever that looks like for them. The 5th goal is connected to our IDEA DA goal, special education students. We were identified as a level 3 in 2022. This year we moved to a level 1, which is a positive thing. And this is why, because we increased from 47.2% to 56.2% of our students with IEP. So when they graduate, they've been an IEP student, they keep track of all this stuff at the state. We'd like to argue the data a little bit, but that's for another time. So 12% or 9% increase, excuse me, in just 3 years of students who have either gone to college or some type of training, and there's specific things with Iowa Workforce that they look at, or are competitively employed. Again, with Iowa Workforce, all that's done through that. So that is a really big positive that our students with IEPs are working towards those secondary or those transition goals of working or going to some type of training, because that was an area that we really needed to focus on, and we have. So I'm really excited to share with you that 9% increase, and we still have a ways to go. The state average is 66% of IEP students that graduate from a school or the state, but I feel really good that we're getting closer to that, and one of the reasons we like to argue is because they don't count Missouri. So if a kid goes and works in
Or
Missouri
family farms.
or family farms, so we feel like we have more of those kids because we know where they are, but they don't get to count for us. So, but we're still working towards that, and that's been a huge focus of ours at the high school, is getting our special education students placed in jobs and support that works for them if they are thinking about that secondary, post-secondary education or training. So I'm excited about that. This data that is here, this is from that Iowa School Performance Profile that I shared with you a month or two ago. And this is all about the post-secondary readiness indicators. And this is the one that I explained with, it kind of keeps changing on us. It used to be all about the ACT score. It used to be all about college credit. And now they're kind of switching gears, and it's really becoming about work-based learning, and it's also becoming about college credit. And then the new one, because they're always adding, is what's called an industry recognized credential. And that's the area that Centerville is going to really focus on. We focused a little bit this year. We've been more focused on the work-based learning piece that Elizabeth shared with you and those students that were placed for a semester. But industry recognized credentials are a huge part of what we are going to be doing, and they are a certification that has been widely acknowledged as holding value within a specific industry or field. So a lot of times, like my best example of that is the OSHA certification, so like the safety. We do a lot of that within our metals and our wood classes, but getting them the actual official certification is one of those things. So there's other ones. ServSafe is another one for any culinary arts. But so many of these industry recognized credentials also cost money. There are some that are free, but there are lots and lots that cost money, and some of them cost a lot of money. So our goal this year was to find some that we could get, because the goal from the state is every child graduates with an industry recognized credential. So that has been a challenge, and we have found a few that we feel like are really working well. PC has really been doing the SAE, which is an ag one. Don't ask me what it stands for because I can't tell you, because school needs to get more acronyms in our lives. But she has brought that to all of her ag classes, so that's and 4-H kids get that one as well. And so it's a really good thing for our kids. But those are the times that we're looking for that, because it's free and it helps them in and outside of school. So we've really focused this year on finding them, and then next year we'll implement, and we will be judged by the state on those numbers. So next year there'll be 3 bars on this data that I share with you, and we hope to be close. So you can see that the work-based learning, our score is the 37.18, and it's all based on what we input into our Infinite Campus, and then the state does some algorithm with it and finds that. The state average is 45, so we're not very far away, and really we just started work-based learning in the true form last year and this year, and we've really stepped up. So our numbers will go up this year because of that class that we talked to you about a couple weeks ago. And then the college credit, we are ahead of the state. 73.86% of our students take a college credit class and earn it. They have to earn the college credit, not just take the class, but actually earn it. And so you know, it's nice to have Indian Hills in our backyard, because we have a lot of kids that take the academies, take online classes, things like that. So those are the data points that I shared with you. The students that are the college credit, just so you know, are reflected from the 23-24 school year, so they are a little bit further behind. But the work-based learning data is just from last year previously. So that's another thing that gets complicated with state data, is like one is 1 year and one is a different year. So, but there'll be a third one there, and I have a feeling we'll have some work to do, but definitely have a good plan of how to get that done for our kids. Our action steps to improve our DCAP plan is really just to create work-based learning opportunities, so continuing to get into our community, asking for placements for our students, and then create more opportunities for that IRC, or that industry recognized credential that I talked to you about. And really a lot of that is just partnering with our businesses and our community and trying to see what they need, what our kids could benefit from, especially for those that are just going into the workforce after high school, so that they already have that before they go into their workforce, and one less thing that they have to get before they can start. So the other thing is to create a systematic approach 5-12. So the state has recently just put in 5th, 6th, 7th grade as part of the DCAP plan, and so we're continuing to work on how can we start as young as 5th grade of careers and thinking about what they need. Lakeview is hosting Careers on Wheels, I think is what they're calling it. And they're gonna have, I think they have 10 or 15, maybe 20 now, cars coming, and they're doing like a little parking lot stations of cars, because we thought with the littles, because they're doing it K-5, you know, if you have a fire truck or you have a dozer or something, like kids are excited about seeing that. So, but it also, they're gonna be able to learn a little bit about what that means, and the counselors have done a good job of trying to get that going for the first year. So,
Do you have a date on
maybe.
that? Okay.
Yes, there is a date,
There is
but I
a
don't know off the top of my head, but I can look for you.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really exciting stuff, and it really is gonna take the entire district to start implementing and embedding it into every classroom and every lesson, because one person can't just do this, it's a whole system approach. So we're working hard to get there, and this is just a requirement by the state that we share this information with you. If you'd ever like to see the 30+ page document that really spells out very specific activities and guidance, we turn it in May 1st every year. I'd be happy to share that with you, but these are the highlights. So, any questions you have for me?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Discussion on the 25-26 budget amendment and approving the set public hearing date and time.
At this time of year, when we're working on our budget for the next year, we're looking at our budget for this year and looking at things that we've had to spend money on, or that we're gonna spend money on that we didn't know about in April. So tonight, really, I just need you to approve setting the hearing, but I'm gonna go ahead and discuss some of the items that weren't known about in April last year for this year's budget. Just a reminder, this does not increase any tax rate. It's just us saying that we had expenses that we didn't know we had in April, and that we need to amend that and let our public know, and then just move forward. So some of the reasons that we're gonna amend, and I think moving forward, I probably need to be a little bit more, or less conservative, and pad a little bit more for things that might happen, like retirement payouts. We didn't have an early retirement this year, but we do have a policy that we pay sick and flex leave out for employees if they're 55, and they let us know by April 1st. So and that can get a little pricey. I don't normally budget for those if we're not having an early retirement year, but we've several retirements, so I'll probably make sure that I budget that into next year, just kind of budget for a few of those anyway. But so some of those are special education tuition payments out to other districts. I've seen an increase in the first semester billings for those, so I want to make sure that I possibly have that covered, since I don't know the final payment yet. It's usually half, but it's not always half, so I don't have the second bill yet, I'm not sure what it's gonna be, so I just wanna make sure that I'm, adding that in. The new AEA, the way they have that split, it used to all go through, without trying to sound confusing, a code that was for flow through, that was a whole entirely different, category. And so the non-special ed portion of that, we found out in the summer where we were gonna code that, and that's in one of these one of the 4 categories. So, I mean, we knew we were gonna pay that to the ADA, but I just didn't know what category we were gonna do that in, so, I have that in there. Aaron's not here, so him and I've had some discussions, that's down later. The auditorium project that we had in early fall, didn't really know everything about that, so, but that, it wasn't as much as we thought it was gonna be, but, it didn't have that on the books in April. Found out from our auditors just here recently, for the FY25 audit, that GASB, which stands for Governmental Accounting Standards Board, requires us to, there's a new requirement, not just this year, but it's been a few years, but the new requirement that when we have a lease, a copier lease or a transportation lease, that we have to not book, because it's not actually, I don't have to do a journal entry to put that on our books, but I have to account for it when they do our audit, that we have to account for the entire lease in the year that we purchase it. So we had a transportation lease this year, and so I have to make sure that we're accounting for the entire principal portion of that lease in this year,
That was
even
the
though
most absurd thing we got from
I was really upset about that,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, so that's in there. Talked with Kate a little bit about a dishwasher that we need to use some of our cafeteria funds, and she talked about maybe a dishwasher. We don't know, we don't have a bid or a quote yet, but if it happens, if we happen to do that purchase before June 30th, I wanna make sure that I budgeted for that, so I'm adding that in there just in case. We still have some insurance projects that didn't get paid all the way in FY25 that we're still paying for in FY26. And then there's a chiller situation in the auditorium that I don't know, that was the one I was gonna say, Aaron's not here, but that might be a large project. I'm not sure when it's gonna start, but if it does possibly start in the summer and I have to make some payments, I wanna make sure that the budget reflects that as well. So these are just some things, and I wanna make sure it's covered, and so I'm asking that we set the public hearing, and then we'll talk about that, and hopefully you will approve that at the next, after the public hearing. Does anybody have any questions?
Sounds like you're on it.
So we just need a motion to approve the public hearing.
Yes, date and time for May 11th at 5:30.
Motion to approve?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the hearing date and time. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. 25-26 certified budget discussions.
Okay, so I did most of the presenting on the budget at the couple meetings ago. At that time, if you'll remember, our proposed levy, our tax rate was 16.68388. So we're gonna be having our final budget hearing, and the state has actually, with the new legislation, has fixed the budget system, so now it's gonna go in the paper as 15.68263. So it's decreased significantly, the tax rate, but what you have on the table is what's gonna go in the paper for the meeting. It's an average of the 3 years of actual 2015, re-estimated 26, and budget 27, which I'm padding a little bit in 27, and those were just my estimates for 26. But I would say if you look there, one of the significant items to talk about, I guess, is the total other expenditure line, and it's a decrease 24.8 from over to the 3-year average. That's because of all of our construction projects that have been going on, where we're coming out of those, thankfully. And our debt service payments are a little bit lower as well. So that's one of the biggest increases there. The 9.1% is non-instructional programs, which is the cafeteria, our nutrition program. And like I said, that we were thinking of spending, we might need to spend some of those funds down. So if that dishwasher doesn't get purchased this year, then it's budgeted for next year, and also any other equipment that we might want to spend some money on. So hopefully our public will be happy about the tax rate that's going to be published for our next hearing. But that's all I have for that.
Nice decrease.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Just want to say it that way.
Yeah, it's a nice decrease. that
Okay.
was published. So
That's
it's like
a
maybe
discussion.
the state finally got their things in there for us.
Yeah, yeah.
We're down to item J, approve personnel business procedures.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the personnel business procedures. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. We are approved. Financial reports.
And it's bog standard financial reports this time around, which is nice.
Did we make, I don't know if this is where I want to say this or not, but we talked about printing or putting that chart out with all the funds.
Yeah.
And I just think we can't get that out there enough because many people don't understand how you can have money for one thing and not another thing.
Good call.
I will make sure we do that.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Well, I'll just keep your money. Actually, I don't think of it until I see this, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh yeah.
I think that'd be really,
And I don't know how you get it big enough or how you make it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we zoom in at a high enough, or if we, zoom in,
Yeah.
wow, if we scan it at a high enough quality, that we can zoom in on.
We're gonna link to.
Oh, yeah, because they have it online.
that's a great, and then promote the link on our, so
Yeah.
what's on
If
our
it doesn't look right,
page.
you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That's such a good chart.
Mhm. And a depressing chart at times.
Well,
Because they're like, I wish I could pay for that out of
I
that.
know, you
Oh.
wish, but, you
But
know,
It
gosh.
does make the most sense for most people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if we could make that call, we would.
I'm looking for a motion
I'll
on the
make a motion to
financial
approve.
reports. Motion to approve, all right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. We are down to the superintendent's report.
Hey, I just have a few items. Tomorrow morning, I'll be going to a job fair at Wartburg. Because it's testing week, I couldn't take any administrators with me. So I conned the band guys into being willing to go in a group because they have such good energy. I thought they could help me maybe pull in our last couple of people that we need. So that should be interesting. Mr. Morgan pointed out to me that we're driving 6 hours for a 2-hour job fair. It's kind of ironic, but also hopefully it pays off. this is a big week, it's ISASS testing week, so big week around the school. You know, keep your fingers crossed for everybody to do their best. Anybody that is watching at home, make sure everybody gets a good night's sleep and a good breakfast each morning. We are plugging through hiring our last positions. And I just wanted to make a quick comment to kind of talk a little bit about our safety drills on last Friday. So we had safety drills at Lakeview, Howard, and CHS. And I would say our students did a wonderful job, our staff did a wonderful job. A couple things at Howard that we're looking to improve. What went over the intercom we didn't get to, this is a drill quickly enough, and that's something that we've addressed and something that we'll make sure is very firm in our directions moving forward, because that caused a lot of trouble for kiddos, I think. And one thing we don't want to do through these safety drills, even though it's like a legally required thing that we need to do and important, we don't want to create fear, or we don't want to scare kids, because that doesn't help us. So we've addressed those things. I'm going to do some additional training with my administrative staff on kind of what our expectations are moving forward. And I think we've got some positives to come out of this. I will say, I am so darn proud of our kids. We had some kids who really stepped up in some big ways in both the middle school and the high school to demonstrate some great leadership in places where things were maybe more challenging than usual on this drill. And I thought it was so great to think that our kids are so smart and so good at problem solving that they came up with really good ideas. I agree with our friend earlier. I think another drill probably wouldn't hurt us to maybe try a little differently, and maybe this one give the kids a chance to kind of think about it differently. So, but I'm really proud of our students and how that worked out, and really appreciative to the police department and actually even the state troopers who helped us out with the drill. That was a great deal to have that many supporting law enforcement officers there for our kids. So just wanted to take a chance to share that a little bit today.
Is there an opportunity, I know obviously it was my daughter that was
Yeah,
speaking,
you're
but
good.
a lot of their concern was they're new in the building
Yes.
and they had not went through what that looks
A
like
normal drill.
in that building
Yeah.
before starting this drill.
Yes.
Is that something that we can do maybe before we run a full-on drill in the
I think
future?
that's a good idea. Yeah.
In the past, one of the drills that I remember being involved with, like, we did some scenarios over the intercom and really talked to the kids about, okay, now, here's what we would do. If your teacher's not here,
Here's
what are
where
you doing? You know, and it was conversation
Yes.
before we actually ran anything, and I think that would be helpful, because that was really
Yes.
the concerns I felt,
Yeah.
where they didn't know, being
Kind of,
new,
what am I
what that
supposed to
looks
do
like.
here? Yeah,
Because it's
absolutely.
very different in each building.
And we talked about one thing that I've debriefed a little bit with my principals. I will tell you, our Lakeview drills are really pretty low impact. So, I mean, traditionally at that age, we kind of expect that to be completely teacher-led, and our teachers do a great job with that. They're all very well versed in what to do. As you get older, you do have a little autonomy for kids, like we're talking about here. What we talked about is trying to use our advisory period to periodically check in with our students to give additional, like what you're talking about, like, let's talk a scenario out. If we were in a tough position, and it maybe doesn't even have to be only intruder, it could be, you know, something like if we've got a fire and this way's blocked, how are we gonna get out, what way are we gonna go? And to use that advisory time to give kids a chance to feel more secure about those things. I think that would probably be a good use of that time too. I'm seeing a nod from the person in the room that I most care about, no offense to everybody else, but like seeing a kid nod makes me feel a little better about
I think
that as a thought.
having time for them to
Yeah.
feel comfortable, because we do fire drills
Yeah,
often enough that it's not the same, but it's the same in every building.
Right.
And I feel like this is a
yeah.
little bit different for them.
And I hope when I say this, I mean this mental health wise, like I hope we someday live in a world where our kids don't have to worry about having a drill like this.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to be drilled on this issue. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in, so we're stuck preparing them for the world that we have.
I like your idea of using the advisory, because I mean, when we first started doing these drills,
Yeah.
years and years ago, and you were probably at Lakeview at the same
Yes, I
that
was.
time.
Yep.
But I remember we would practice like we practiced going out our window in the
Yeah.
classroom.
Yeah,
And then after you talked about different scenarios and practiced the different things, then we had the drill.
Yeah.
So-
My group broke a table in the one where
Oh,
we
I
tried that, and then I
remember
got to tackle Brandon Clark, because for some reason he was working with the PD at that point. And they had him get us in the hallway while we were debriefing, and Jeff Moore and I got to tackle him, and that was a blast. But yeah, I think we've talked about doing more tabletops with our administrators too, but I think to some degree, the leader in the building has to have an idea of all these different scenarios, and we need to have gone through them with PD, and I think, you know, both Mike and Josh, I keep pointing at Josh, but, because Josh has a lot of experience in this area, the two of them, Mike and Josh have a lot of scenarios that we can do with our admin, but I like the idea of giving some scenarios to our kids and letting them think it out. I'm really impressed with some of the creative ideas that some of our kids had in these drills and then after these drills. And one thing that kind of came up out of the blue this time that I would probably plan for in the future, at the middle school, we ended up doing and we probably scripted a little better because I think it was impromptu here, but we had a debrief meeting with the kids afterwards. And I think there's some real merit to coming together and them getting to see the police officers and hear some positives from the police officers. So I think we got a lot of learning out of this one. I know we're gonna put our script, that what we expect people to say over the intercom next to the phone, so it's always there. In the case of Howard, it was our third person on the list. Typically, it would be one of the two secretaries who would be our announcement person rather than the principal. So we're gonna have that script there so they know all the things that we expect during that time, because you never know in an emergency what might happen. There was a lot of good learning to come out of this. While not everything went perfect, I think we learned a lot of things that I wanna take some time and sit down with our PD folks and reflect on, like, okay, how do I make us better with this? How do I make us better with that?
Which is the reason you have a drill in the first
That's
place.
fair.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
okay, let's work the bugs out now.
And there's some bugs.
Yeah,
And these bugs really were not fun bugs.
no,
And so there are things that we have to work out now, and they have to be right the next time that we come together. So that's,
But with that, we always understand that drills, nothing's gonna go perfect in a
Yeah.
scenario, however it's gonna go, we gotta understand it's not perfect anytime.
Yeah.
We have trouble with fire drills and tornado drills still today. I mean, we've been doing those for
Yep.
how many years, so we still have kids that go to
so,
the wrong place to do different things. But
right.
I think as far as a police officer standpoint, we'd love to do more drills with the schools. We'd love to come in and walk with the kids and show them what we would expect and what we think. I think working together hand in hand is gonna be fantastic. And with students like you coming in and sharing what you want to see, we'll be happy to help with you.
That helps.
is that something you think we can do this year yet? I mean, we're kind of
Possibly.
running out of time.
I know
but-
we're real tight on time at the
Yeah.
end there with testing and everything here, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think for our middle school kids in particular, it might give them a better sense of confidence, which would be kind of nice.
I think it'd be great for the kids and parents to see that, you know, okay, we've taken these bugs, what are we doing to fix
Right,
it now?
fix it.
And or to reframe how that is for
I
kids.
think, like she said, I think that was awesome. We just want a chance to do it where we can actually learn from it.
Yeah,
Where it doesn't feel so scary and we have a chance to learn from it actually. I think that's huge, because that's why we do these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that building, I think we might try to make an extra effort to make that happen.
Yeah.
I don't know so much that we
That's a
could
good
fit in
idea.
another one at Lakeview this year or CHS this year necessarily. But we do still need to do, and our drill at the preschool is I literally go and check doors and teachers do their protocol. The kids don't even know that a drill's happening. It's a drill for the teachers. And they just do, I put carpet time or whatever
They
during
move
that.
corner, they move them.
They do the preschool thing.
We keep it pretty low key there, because
Yeah.
they're pretty little to understand any of it.
It is, as a building, it is required by state law to do a drill with them, but we really want to try to keep it pretty low key because we don't want them worrying.
Or 3-year-olds running around the neighborhood.
Yeah, we don't want that.
That's what the fence is for, right?
yeah, except for they go out a door that doesn't have a fence.
And the best part about that drill is when we're all done, then we open up doors and we get to hang out with preschool kids for a little while.
Absolutely.
Good. So, anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit
And
about
then there are kids, you know, you have I'm just gonna use the word surprise, but you have the word surprise tornado drills and the
Yeah.
surprise fire drills. And there are kids that are upset by that.
right? Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes we don't have a warning too.
Yeah.
You know, but I, to your point, I think that if you, front load all of that, all of the drills with the learning, then you're gonna have people.
Well, I think like we don't do those surprise tornado drills on a day where it's stormy outside,
Right.
right? So like we try to minimize how the surprise impacts somebody emotionally, and in this case, I don't think we did a great job of minimizing that, so we have to come back and hit it again and try to get it right.
At the first of the year, we can always go through with the students, remember, this is where we're going during our first couple weeks of school, and then have a drill later on. And I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so, thank you.
all right.
Sorry I took a little longer.
Well,
That's
it's
okay.
important.
Any questions for the superintendent? We are down to, we call them takeaways, but it's not quite that formal. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Yes,
I just haven't been here since, or maybe we haven't had a meeting, but since the career fair. I went to that this year, and I'm really glad I did. It was pretty amazing to see all of the people coming to support our kids. And the student, I think the student council did it, but they had cards for the kids to get signed from the different vendors, and if they got so many, they got to pick from the prize table, and they had a lot of fun with that.
It was a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
would like to see, we have a couple large employers of students in Hy-Vee and Fairway, and I would like to see them there next year. If
Yeah,
it should be asked, I don't know if they were asked in the.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I think everybody in the world has been asked.
Okay, so I don't know the circumstances, but that was just an observation, because I thought, oh, they employ so many of our kids.
That's true.
That's kind of a,
I will double check, but lots of invitations have been.
okay, but it was really cool.
It's funny, I hadn't even noticed that they weren't there though, that's.
And I got a really cool squishy from CNC Machining of a cow. It was,
Yeah.
it's really good.
you're all about that stuff.
I know, I got one. I saw a lot of merch, but.
Merch there.
Yeah, a lot of merch,
Yeah.
which is a great way to,
Did you try the goggles with the PD?
No,
Those weren't
I did
terrifying.
not.
There were so many kids in the
Yeah.
It was so good.
One thing, I went as well, and I talked to the Woods and Middle class students, and they were exceptional in explaining what their programs do. And there were 4 boys, and they were so excited about what they've made and what they're accomplishing in their classes and the things they're learning, and that was really good to see. I also visited with the FFA table, and they were really good. Yeah, I think those programs are great.
And I really liked the K-9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a win.
that was good.
It's always a good one.
That was a good one.
I visited, I think I missed maybe 4 or 5 because they had so many people.
Oh,
But I tried to visit with every one of them and ask them if they'd been there before, and if they thought it was, worth their time, and they all thought it was.
Yeah.
Every one of them was glad they came, and if it was their first time or their second or third time, they all really wanted to be a part of it. So that's a real success story there, I think. I did see Seymour brought a bus.
I saw that too, yeah.
So,
I
but
want to say Moravia came too. Am I wrong about that? They did last year.
I think it was on a Friday, so I don't
Okay,
know.
maybe
They did
yeah.
last year, yeah.
They did last year.
Seymour was on a Friday, but they still managed to get it
Yep,
done.
yep.
So I was encouraged by that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
One more point I would like to make about it is that it would be nice for board members to have some kind of something
That's a good idea.
that kind of identifies who you are and why you're there.
What are you talking about?
Well,
They're gonna put them goggles on you and.
I'm not even touching that one. But wouldn't that be kind of, or maybe you want to be incognito, I don't know.
No,
But I'm like, people, well, what are they doing here?
I don't know.
No,
It was a good experience.
It was, yeah.
If you can go, I would encourage you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The students asked a lot better questions this year. They were actually more engaged in the careers that they were talking to. You just listening to them go around, they actually got 2 or 3 of us together and asked some very good questions on how to go a career path, so it was good to see this year. So whatever you guys are doing with your projects are working out, because they actually did ask a lot of good questions.
One kid at the CNC table where I got my cow, he asked what were opportunities for advancement? And I thought,
Oh, that's great.
wow, what a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else? Looking for that.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
We are adjourned.